Over the years, many tales have been told about locomotives and their railways. Stories ranging from the Big Four, British Railways, the Modernisation Plan, and even the Beeching Axe. As time goes on, they are told by generations both young and old. But my stories have never been told until now. For these are my steam railway stories.
Alice, the small pannier tank engine, was enjoying her new life on the Forest Light Railway. She had made good friends with the resident engines, and they had accepted her as a member of the railway. Alice could handle both coaches and trucks very easily, and doesn't mind what job she is given. To her, as long as it pleases Mr. Harris, any job is a good job. One evening, the engines were resting at the shed when Dom puffed in, looking very cross.
That stupid old twerp!
Oh, what's the matter this time, Dom?
Hang on, it's not that Mr Hendrick again, is it?
It is, Pav, and today he's worse than ever.
Mr Hendrick? Who's that?
Well, Alice, one of the regular passengers we have, whose name is Charles Hendrick, is quite rude. And judging by the look on his face, Dom has become victim to his...
Yes, Sadie, I think expressions speak louder than words, thank you.
Okay. Anyway, Hendrick is very rude. He says rude things to us when we're either running late, going too fast or too slow, and even barges through when the coaches are too full.
Oh my, is he an angry type?
You could say that, Alice. He is a bit of a drinker too, so you would often see a beer can or bottle in his hand at night. Because of that, he can be quite rowdy too. He's just unbearable.
He threw an empty can at me in anger for no reason. Mind you, it's not the first time someone's done that. And ow! What was that? Huh? But he's also another reason why I don't like pulling passenger trains. He's worse than those children kicking their seats.
Are you sure? You don't think it's because you're late anyway, Dom?
I am sure. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to sleep. I want to forget about that idiot. Good night.
You do know it's not good for your mental health to go to sleep angry, right?
Tell that to those who throw hissy fits over the most petty things.
Anyway, if you do see him, just do your best to ignore him and get on with your job.
I will. Thanks for the tip, Sadie.
As the engines fell asleep, Alice stayed awake for a bit longer. She was thinking about what the others had told her about Mr. Hendrick and hoped that she wouldn't see him tomorrow. But the following morning, she was wrong. When Alice arrived to collect her coaches, she heard an unfamiliar voice.
Oh, come on! Hurry up! I'm going to miss my train!
There was Mr. Hendrick, waiting impatiently in line for the booking office. He was stuck behind a line of school children. He then took a look at Alice and smirked at her.
Oh, that's a fine sight. A Great Western pannier, in an ugly colour. She should have been green, not black. Honestly, those painters really don't know what they're doing.
This upset Alice, but she didn't say anything in case she made things worse. Soon everyone was on board and Alice set off. Alice was soon trundling through the countryside. Everything was going fine. until some of the school children started screaming for fun. This was starting to annoy Mr. Hendrick until he could hardly contain himself.
Well, you annoying little brat, shut up! You're giving me a headache! You shouldn't even be allowed out of school in the first place!
This made the children go quiet, but they were hurt and remained silent for the rest of the journey.
Oh my! I can't believe that someone would say something like that! Especially to little children, too!
Alice wasn't enjoying her journey anymore. And when they stopped to Wootton Holt, she told Sadie what Mr. Hendrick said that morning.
How awful!
I know. Honestly, I hope that man gets what's coming to him, or even gets arrested.
He nearly did get arrested once. He lived in a flat and was rude to his flatmates by telling them to turn off their music. My driver told me about that. He kept losing his keys and bashing the doors in, and because of it, the flatmates kept reporting him to the police. And they only let him off with a warning.
Unbelievable! They should have locked him up and thrown away the key.
Alice wished there was something she could do, but she didn't know what. Later that day, Alice was in good time to pick up her regular passengers.
Hop on board quickly, please, everyone. All ready, and plenty of space for all of you.
Everything was going fine. Then everything seemed to happen at once. The moment the guard blew his whistle, Alice set off and Mr. Hendrick ran onto the platform.
Wait, you stupid rust bucket! I'm supposed to get on that train! Come back here! Ah-ya!
Ew, gross!
Don't worry, Alice. We'll give you a good clean when we get back to the sheds.
The next morning, Alice arrived to collect her coaches. Once again, she saw Mr. Hendrick on the platform. But this time, he was in handcuffs and accompanied by 2 policemen.
Oh my, what's been going on here?
Well, this bloke here punched me in the eye and kicked me in the nuts when I was coming into the men's lavatories. He lost his wallet with his ticket inside because of his drinking the night before and thought it was a good idea to mug the first person who comes in and use their money to buy the ticket home. It's what we call subsequent levatarians.
I said I was sorry!
Well, that was a stupid move. He was even rude to some school children on my train yesterday, and threw a beer can at me last night when he missed his train.
I see. Well, we've been keeping an eye on this guy for a long time, and with the facts you've just given us, all that is now the final straw. We'll be taking him to the station, and he will remain in custody for a very long time.
But you can't do that! I've got my job to do, and it's important too!
Well, you should have bloody thought of that before you pulled all those stunts with your rudeness. Now come on, into the car with you.
Hello, Alice. What's been going on here?
Well, Sadie, let's just say that Mr. Hendrick is in a lot of trouble.
Later that day, Mr. Harris came to see the engines at the sheds. I'm pleased to tell you that you won't have to deal with Charles Hendrick anytime soon. He's going to be placed in jail and he'll be getting help with anger and drinking problems.
Well, I hope we never hear from him again. Good riddance, that's what I say.
And as for you, Alice, I understand you went through some misery and chaos with that man yesterday. However, I'm very pleased about how you dealt with the situation.
But I didn't do anything, sir.
I mean, I'm glad you didn't try and deal with him yourself. That would have only made things worse. But with the evidence you gave to the police about yesterday's events, it's thanks to you that he's now being dealt with, and I'm very pleased with you for that. You really have proven yourself since you first arrived.
Oh, than happy to be here with you all.
The engines cheered and whistled. The trio was now a quartet. Alice is happy to call the Forest Light Railway her home. She still gets a bit nervous sometimes, but does her best to prove herself, and she never saw Mr Hendrick again after that encounter. And Alice hoped she would never have to deal with anyone with that kind of behaviour again. But even if she did, she knows that if they're not careful, they'll get what's coming to them. Eventually.